welcome to another episode of The Slip Cordon. I'm Isabel Joyce, and tonight I'm joined by Siún Woods from YMCA, Nina Blau from Railway Cricket Club, and Ali Keenan from Phoenix. Welcome, guys.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us here.
Thanks so much for coming on. It's been an exciting week for the three of you. I'll come to you first, Ali. Phoenix were in their semi-final of the Sprint Coatings Division 2 last night and had a convincing win. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it was a really good game. I think when we went out to bowl and Georgina Dempsey got a wicket off the first ball, it kind of set the mood for the rest of the innings. And then, a cluster of a lot of wickets kind of put us in a good mood and kept the energy up and the pressure on. So we kept them to a really low total. And then when we went into bat, we kind of just kept level-headed and didn't try to just get the runs as quickly as we can. We try to keep them out there and trying to keep it just like a good game of cricket, go out and have a bit of a bat. And then Ali Black hit a couple big shots at the end, a 6 and a 4 to win the game. So it was a really exciting finish at the end as well.
Yeah, and you in particular had a very good day. Took 5 wickets.
Yeah.
So figures of 5 for 19 from your 5. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And you also came in number 5 and made a very important 20, because there were a few early wickets. Were you nervous coming in? I think it was 3 for 16 when you came to the crease.
Not so much, because we played a practice game Monday night, but I wasn't able to play because I was a bit injured. So when I went into bat, I was more like, I just want to have a bat. I didn't get to bat last night, so let me just go out and just hit a few shots, try and keep us in and try and get just like the strike rotating or whatever. So we had loads of balls to do it, so I made sure that I blocked the good balls and respected them. So
a lot of respect for that mind frame of just wanting to go out and bat rather than getting nervous. Wish I could teach people that. Siún, you also had a semi-final where YMCA were also pretty convincing victors over at Leinster. You bowled first as well and kept them to a low total. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was a really great start. I think Emma McAvoy got a wicket off the first over, and then Sarah Burnley backed it up in the second with the maiden, which allowed Emma to take 2 wickets in the next over. So it was a really great start. And then I think we had a ton of bowlers take wickets. So I think Amelia Flanagan, Zoe Hoffman and Roshan Staunton all took 2 wickets each. So it was a really thorough bowling performance and a really complete one from us. And we were really good in the field and kept the energy up for the whole time. So it was great. And then on the batting side, me and Zoe Hoffman got to open the batting together, which we've done a lot this season. We do it for a couple of teams, and we just kind of kept calm and knew that if we got through the first 5, we were chasing a low total. So if we got ourselves in, it'd be pretty easy to chase it down. So we got ourselves in and kind of started off and knocked off the first 40 or so. And then I think Emma McAvoy was player of the match. She got 19 not out at the end to bring us home. So it was a really good win for us.
Yeah, that's very convincing. And you mentioned you used a lot of bowlers. You used 8 in total. Do you see that as a strength of your team going into the final?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think every bowler that's bowled for us this season has always stood up and put in a really good performance for us. So it's a great one that if someone's having a bit of an off day, we have so many options to go to, and more often than not, the person who we go to stands up and does a great job for us.
Well, I suppose that's how you get to the final, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nina, just coming to you, Railway Union have had a stellar season in the first year that we've had a Sprint Coatings Division 4. And so first of all, congratulations on winning the inaugural season for that competition.
Thank you very much. I think if I speak for the rest of the team, we didn't expect it. But I think as we continued through the season, it definitely seemed a bit more clear that we could actually do it. So yeah, no, it was a good season, although it's a bit short.
Yeah, well, I mean, before the season started, it wasn't clear whether Railway would be able to put a team in because of just various things, like you've got a lot of mums in your team. They don't know if they're going to have to be driving their kids to games or, various things like that. That's obviously just one of many reasons why it can be difficult for a women's team to field a team at times. So did you find that then once you were in the league and you started winning games that it made it easier to continue going and winning?
Oh, definitely. I think even when we got the COVID compliance as Railway, immediately in the training, I think we were all kind of scratching at the walls in a bit of COVID and we're looking to get training. So I think the mums and everybody involved was looking to get out to begin with. So I think that spirit was there from the start. And I think as we progressed through the games, because I think last season, was our first kind of season out there. We didn't really have as many fielders. I think we were short maybe 1 or 2 games. But I think this time we had a full house. We'd even have a spare. And we were having people saying, can I play? So I think the spirit was definitely there. And moms alike, all of us tried to get involved. And we even had a bunch of new players join this season. So I think that was in our favor too.
That's brilliant to hear. That's the dream, really, having extra players. Having to select a team is a real luxury. Looking back on your season, there was one match in particular that kind of stands out, which is the tie that you had with Greystones. How important, looking back, do you think that was that you managed to tie that match in terms of winning the title?
I think that was major. I think, speaking for everyone, we would have loved to have won that. To draw at the end to tie was a little disappointing. However, we walked away going, and I think Judy came to us as well, and Hillary and GJ and Ginger, and they were all saying, look, we drew. It was unbeaten. So I think we had to kind of pick ourselves up from that one. We would have loved to win, but definitely going unbeaten this season helped us, particularly for the final game. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant to see Railway, such a strong club, coming back to the fore and winning a title. Ali, just coming back to you, you're now in the final to win the Division 2 Sprint Coatings competition. What would that title mean to Phoenix Cricket Club when it comes to the resurgence of women and girls cricket in Phoenix?
I think it would mean a lot, definitely, because we've not won a cup or a league in a good few years now, and we have a lot of really good young players like Georgina Dempsey and Ella Pasley and the McDonoughs. So I think they're kind of used to being really good in the girls section, so it's nice to see them coming up through the ladies section now and helping us to the victories that we're receiving. So hopefully we'll get the win in the final, but it's all to play for.
And Siún, your team will be trying to dash their hopes. You've already won some silverware this year. You've won the Colts division. Do you think that having already won that final, you'll bring that kind of confidence into this final?
Yeah, definitely. We had a really good performance in that final. I think particularly a really strong batting performance, which kind of would have been our weakness, but a lot of our batters really stood up in that game where we hadn't really before in the season. So I think our batting group has a lot more confidence than we used to, and a lot of the players who play in that Colts final will be playing on Saturday. So hopefully we can use the experience from winning one final to kind of really back ourselves on Saturday and know that we can win one.
And how important is it having that strong youth team coming through together, like girls of your own age playing together, and then coming up into the adult kind of ranks?
Yeah, it's great. It means that we're all really good friends and we all get along and we know like how we play and what works for us really well as well. So it's really good for us, and hopefully, we've seen in twos this year that we've put some really strong performances together, and hopefully like going forward we can be even more consistent next year, and hopefully it'll feed into our ones team as well, hopefully.
And just coming back to you, Nina, Railway are slightly different to Phoenix and YMCA in that your women's team has been formed kind of around a few mums around the club and some like adults, I suppose you'd say, whereas in Phoenix and YM it's really very much the youth players coming into the women's. Do you have any goals to kind of meet a kids section with the women's section in the future?
I mean, that would be great, and the more teams we could have in Railway, the better. As you said, we've got people of all different walks of lives and backgrounds and commitments, and I think the youngest person on the team is 21. So we do have young, and I'm not going to say old, I'd get into a lot of trouble for saying that. But we have done a really good job. We'd love to increase the number of teams, and even so, to have our ladies team move up in a division would be great as well. I think everybody's spirits are kind of ready to go. So let's see what next season holds for us. But we'd love to move up in the league. And just to these two here on the call, I wish I could be like them when I grow up, We're not as polished as you guys, but definitely if I could have a second go at my life, I'd like to be like you lot, definitely.
Oh, what a compliment, lovely thing to say. Ali, just looking at the Division 2 is the only division that has semi-finals and finals, which has worked out very well for actually both you and Shun, because Phoenix actually finished 4th. So going into the semi-final, did you see that as kind of a free pass that you could play with some freedom?
A little bit, yeah, but I also think we had a bit to prove after our game that we played against Rush, our first match. It was really close towards the end, and I think we all wanted to go in and prove that we could beat them. So I think everyone went in with the intent of like wanting to win, but also that whole we aren't at the top of these 4 people playing in the semi-finals, so it's not the end of the world if we don't put in the biggest performance, because we weren't like the favourites to win, if you want to say.
And you've been lucky enough to have Amy Keneally coaching the group this season. Did it give you some confidence, or did she have some words of advice going into the match? She's won a lot of trophies with Leinster Club, so she must have given you some kind of being a calming influence, I should say.
100%. She definitely kept us all level-headed, because I feel like there was probably a bit of nervous jitters going into the fact that it was a semi-final, but she told us to like stay calm and treat it as any other normal match. So we'd go in and like we wouldn't be all nervous like we were for our first game against Rush.
Very good. And Shane, from one female coach to another, you have had Robin Lewis coaching in YMCA for the season. How important is it having strong female role models? Not that we've anything against male coaches, but do you think it's a positive having a female coach, and then you've got a number of them, I know, in YMCA at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. And it's even better because Robin's a player coach, so we kind of get to see both sides for the player and the coach, which has been great. And Robin's been, great with us this season. I think the fact that a lot of our girls get to do academy like during the week with her as well has really helped our cricket, and she's been amazing for us all this season. And yeah, I think it's great having a woman coaching us, and I suppose Robin being a little bit younger as well is really helpful because we can kind of relate to her probably a little bit more, because she's probably 4 or 5 years older than most of us, so that's really good to have like a younger girl coaching us as well.
Brilliant. And Nina, you've got a coach of a very high caliber in Railway, Ginger O'Brien. A number of O'Briens in the Railway team.
Yeah.
You're very lucky.
I should be Nina O'Brien at this stage. I think we're all an O'Brien in some way or another.
How many O'Briens were actually in that team winning photo that we saw on Twitter?
I think we had about 4 in the photo.
Yeah,
so a fair number of O'Briens, and I'd say Ginger's he's different. Again, I've never known him when he was in his younger day, but I think he definitely pushed us this season. As he's saying, we're a slightly older team, so we're reluctant to run for the ball, we're reluctant to catch, and Ginger would give out to us often saying like, come on now, just run after the ball, and he'd hit the ball and we'd chase after it. So this season involved a lot more running, which I think we all needed after a bit of quarantine. But I'm excited for another season with him. He's got so much patience with us, because often I go like, we hit the ball, and sometimes we maybe clipped him and then go, oh, sorry, Ginge, sorry about that. And you feel like he might be upset with you, but he just laughs it off. So no, it's been really good having a good bunch of O'Briens. And I moved to Ireland about 3.5 years ago. So for me, it was really different because I hadn't grown up in Railway. I played cricket as a kid, and that was about it. And we've got some kind of players who are dusting off the cobwebs, like Carol played back in the day as well. Kira's has it going through her veins among the other O'Briens. And then there's just a few of us who kind of just found our way into Railway. And it feels like home. So much so that a lot of us are signing up for other sports at Railway for winter time. So I definitely say O'Brien's and Railway goes hand in hand. Yeah.
What sport have Railway managed to cajole you into playing?
I'm going into hockey. Against my mother's wishes back in the day, I used to play tennis for some.
Might see you there, Nina. See you there.
Shun and I are both Railway hockey players. You'd be glad to know, Nina.
Very good. So I heard from Ali today. She just said, oh, well, we signed a bunch of you guys up for this and went. And I was like, oh, geez, okay, thanks for giving me the heads up, but I'm in. So...
Look, it's a great club, and that's the brilliant thing about Railway. There's a great social aspect to it, like you've mentioned. And I suppose in some ways, with the O'Brien clan together, you've got Ginger as the coach, and he used to be the Ireland women's coach back in the day, even before my day, if you can believe that. I mean, I didn't even have him. But you also have Kira, who is a female role model, like not necessarily the head coach, but being a cricketing role model, and she's such a fantastic player. So you've nearly got the best of both worlds, which is brilliant. I've kind of lost the run of myself there. So
I could talk about Kira all day. No, she's done an amazing job with us. As you said, like Ginger's off the field. So you'll hear him shouting when we're playing a match. You'll kind of hear his voice echoing into the field. But Kira's definitely been really good with us. Again, our levels of like proficiency in the game is quite different. And Kira's always been leading the way. Like she took 5 wickets in the last game. She had like a catch and she bowled someone out, and was a nice momentum that she bowled, and she keeps the spirits high. So I know I keep bagging on about spirit, but I think Railway, as you said, social, it's for the crack, it's for having that kind of interaction that I think a lot of us were lacking over quarantine time.
Yeah, and hopefully you can bring that into next season and get some of the hockey girls coming over to cricket. So just to finish up, Ali, you've got great support in Phoenix, and Sprint Coatings, which is the title sponsor for all 4 of our divisions, comes out of Phoenix. And we've just heard that they're extending their partnership with Cricket Leinster for a number of years. You must be very proud that Phoenix supports the women's game so much.
Yeah, it's really nice to see that there's a lot of interest and enthusiasm for the women's game, especially coming out of Phoenix, and kind of gives us good momentum and a good drive to want to do well as well, because it's coming out of our club to show us that we can do well in Phoenix, and they've done a good job investing in the right thing.
Brilliant. So just a little quick roundup before we finish up. A couple of other divisions were decided this week, or in the past week. Leinster Cricket Club retained their title of the Sprint Coatings Division 1. Pembroke Cricket Club have taken Sprint Coatings Division 2. And we have, Division 3. We have the final of the Sprint Coatings Division 2 between 2 of my guests tonight. So best of luck to the 2 of you in that final that should take place on Saturday. And then Railway Union have come back with a win in the Sprint Coatings Division 4 in all-girls season. So congratulations to Nina and her team on that. Thank you so much for coming on, guys. And that's it for this episode of The Slip Cordon. Good night.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.